Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with another brand new Mattel Jurassic World Rebirth release. In a way, we have the Sound Surge Carnotaurus, and so far, this is technically the only Carnotaurus that is officially released in the Jurassic World Rebirth line. However, there was the Mighty Little Biters version that didn't technically go by the Jurassic World Rebirth logo, but was very clearly based on the Jurassic World Rebirth figures because it had like the Mosasaurus and the T-Rex and stuff like that. So in a way, like, there was already a Carno, but this is the only one that so far has actually been released with the Rebirth logo on it. Now, looking at this, you might be thinking, Andy, did you not already review this one with Dominion? Well, kind of. What's weird is this one actually is slightly different from the version that we had seen in Dominion when it comes to the Sound Surge Carnotaurus from that toy line. But it's not a new figure overall. It's very confusing. So as far as the packaging goes, we'll go over that first. You can see the packaging is just like it was for the T-Rex, pretty much the standard. And then when you turn it around, you take a look at the back, you can see again we've got the Carno right there, and then the Rex that we already reviewed, as well as the Giganotosaurus, which the Giga has not changed at all. It is the same figure that we had reviewed for Rebirth, so I did not grab that one. But I'm going to go ahead and pop this box open and then explain the differences. So here is our Sound Surge Carnotaurus, and as you can see, this is definitely like an older Mattel sculpt, and in fact it is the exact same sculpt that we had in the Jurassic World Dominion version. Wow, that is a weird place to put a random code like that, a random set of letters and stuff, like, and numbers. Like, it makes no sense to put it there, and especially on what I would think is the more dominant side of the figure. But this whole thing is very strange and kind of confusing to explain, because when you go back and watch my review of the Sound Surge Carnotaurus from Dominion, there were some differences that actually were not good differences. It had less paint. So if you go back and look at that one, I'm not going to bring that figure in because I do not feel like digging that one out just for this small comparison, but that one didn't actually have the horns painted. So that's the one difference. The other difference is it did not have the injury here painted out on the face. So basically the injury of Carnotaurus Toro, which is exactly what this is replicating, it did not have that on the Dominion version. However, they have given this that sort of Toro look for the Rebirth release. And I actually didn't even realize this until I grabbed this figure, because when I saw this and the painted horns, I'm thinking, well, okay, so like that's definitely different from mine, because mine did not have that. But then I actually did a little bit of research, and this Carnotaurus is still a Carnotaurus that was released previously from Mattel. This one came out in the Dino Escape line with the Sound Surge figures, but I was never able to find them back then, so I never was able to acquire this Carnotaurus back then. When they had released with Dominion, I think at the time I assumed it was still the same Carnotaurus, and it wasn't until I actually had seen this one in store at Kohls, which is where I purchased this one, that I did see that there was in fact a difference between this Carnotaurus and the one that I have in my collection already from Dominion. So honestly, that's really about it as far as the figure goes that would differentiate this one from the other one. I knew this was going to be a really short video, but I still wanted to show that off, especially if you are a variant collector like I am. If you're somebody that really wants to have every different slight variant from Mattel, which, you know, I am sad to say that I am that person, then this is definitely something that you're going to want to know about so that you can go ahead and get this one into your collection. It's so sad to see Mattel do things like, I know that the paintwork on these figures is always basic, but like they painted the teeth on the upper jaw and didn't paint the teeth on the lower jaw. That just is like so silly. And even the T-Rex actually had paintwork for the inside of the mouth, so I was half expecting the Carnotaurus to have it, but unfortunately it does not. But you can see again just a really quick brief look at it. We have the articulated jaw. Again, the coloration is that kind of like orangish brown tone, and then you have this light tone, that like light gray moving along the lower jaw that does extend down into the throat before disappearing. And then you also have that brown, which has a very glossy look up here that sort of speckles over the top of the head, and then does of course overtake the horns, and then moves down into the neck, and then disappears as you move down to the bottom of the neck. And then as you move out into the body, You are left with absolutely no paintwork. There is just nothing going on out here as far as the actual paint apps go, except there is a slight speckling, which almost looks like it's applied in like a wash-like fashion, but there is a speckling that does at least give it a little bit of color moving through the rest of the figure. But that's really about it, outside of course, the eyes being painted with a black, and then the injury painted on, not sculpted onto the figure, which does look a little bit iffy, but there are no painted nails or anything like that. Articulation-wise, of course, you have the jaw, which is insanely stiff for some reason, but you have the jaw articulation. You also have arm articulation forward and back. Doesn't come out away from the body. Leg articulation forward and back. You have the swivel ankles like we used to all the time, and then the tail, which is, again, pretty much the standard when it comes to a Mattel Carnotaurus. And that's pretty much all there is outside of the noises, which we will go ahead and give you a sample of. So you've got a few noises there, but not a whole lot. So again, if you do already have the Dominion version, which is a little bit more naked, then you may not want to pick this one up. You may also just generally be happy with all of the other Carnotaurus that we've had numerous times before that have pretty much the exact same sculpt, and then more paintwork and less ugly, areas like the battery compartment and stuff on the side. So you may not want to pick this one up, but if you are like me, and first of all, you love Carnotaurus, or you just generally want to have every variant that Mattel releases, and maybe you missed this one like I did originally, then head to your local Kohls and you can grab it there. Otherwise, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.